Let's be real, there's a ton of anxiety out there right now about how AI is changing everything in tech. I mean, org charts are getting shuffled, job titles are changing, and pretty much everyone is wondering, where do I fit in all this? So today, we're going to cut through all that noise. We've got a really powerful way to think about what the future of tech teams is actually going to look like. Okay, let's just get right to it, the elephant in the room. The question on everyone's mind, is AI coming for my job? I mean, this is the multi-billion-dollar question, right? It's driving conversations everywhere, from the boardroom all the way down to your daily stand-up. Well, the thing is, the answer isn't a simple yes or no. What we're actually seeing suggests it's not really about outright replacement. It's more about a fundamental realignment of roles, of responsibilities. The org chart as we know it, yeah, it's being completely redrawn. So here's the game plan. First, we're going to introduce this new AI org chart framework. Then, we'll dive deep into the two main types of roles, the ones that deal with humans and the ones that deal with machines. After that, we'll see how this is all playing out in what people are calling the agentic arms race. And then we'll wrap it all up by figuring out, what this really means for you. Okay, let's dive into the core idea here. We're going to look at a mental model that was popularized by Yoni Rachtman. It gives us a really powerful and, frankly, a much clearer way to think about the essential roles on a tech team after AI has changed the game. And here it is. This simple 2x2 grid, this is the key to the whole thing. It's built on two really simple ideas. You've got the vertical axis, which is all about who you work with. Are you dealing with humans or are you dealing with machines? And then you've got the horizontal axis, which is about your main focus. Is your North Star creativity or is it responsibility? Every single essential role on a modern AI team, it fits somewhere in one of these four boxes. Now, to make this whole thing really stick, Kari Saarinen, who's the CEO of Linear, came up with this brilliant analogy from online gaming, specifically World of Warcraft. In that game, any successful team needs four classic roles. You need DPS, the high damage dealers. You need tanks, who just absorb damage and protect everyone else. You need healers, who support the team and fix things. And you need utility players, the creative, versatile ones. Just keep that analogy in your head as we walk through each of these four quadrants. All right, first up, we're going to tackle the top half of our grid. These are the two roles that are all about the human side of things. This is where the product actually meets real people. And right away, you see this really interesting split. On one side, you have the creative types, the explorers who are facing the users. And on the other, you have the responsible guardians of that user experience. See, both roles deal with humans, but their missions, totally different. So this first box, which they've playfully labeled hot people, is basically the creative engine of the whole team. These are the folks who are pushing the boundaries, finding brand new ways to use AI, and designing these amazing user experiences. In our gaming analogy, they're the utility class. They use this whole toolkit of skills to unlock things no one thought was even possible. Now, on the other side of that human-focused line, you've got the grown-ups. And just to be clear, this isn't about how old you are, it's a mindset. These are the people who are laser-focused on responsibility, on trust and safety. They're handling user support, making sure the system works reliably and ethically. In our analogy, they're the healers, and their entire job is to keep the product and the community around it healthy and safe. Okay, so now let's drop down to the bottom half of the grid. This is where we find the roles that work directly with the tech itself. The code, the AI models, all the core infrastructure. Down here, it's all about the builders versus the defenders. On one side, you have this relentless pace of creating and shipping new AI features. And on the other side, you've got the steady, crucial work of protecting the system, of making sure it can actually handle all that speed and innovation. This brings us to the AI engineer, the designer, and the product manager. Think of them like the DPS, the damage per second in a game. Their job is to move fast and build things. They're the ones implementing the models, designing the new features, and just pushing the product forward at an absolutely incredible speed. They're the offensive firepower of the whole organization. And that brings us to our fourth and final role, the defenders, the security, SRE, and infrastructure teams. In our analogy, these are the tanks for sure. Their whole job is to protect the system. They're literally taking the hits, absorbing technical damage like security threats or scaling issues. They build the stable bedrock that allows the rest of the team to move fast and innovate safely. Okay, so this framework sounds cool, right? But does it actually hold up in the real world? Well, let's look at the evidence from the front lines of what people are calling the agentic arms race. Oh, yeah, it's not just a theory. We're seeing this play out in real time. AI agents, which are basically AIs that can take actions all by themselves, are exploding. You have the AI engineers building tools like Claude Code, which can now test the very apps it builds. The open source community is creating these powerful tools for multi-agent setups. All this innovation, it's coming directly from that high-speed, high-impact DPS quadrant. And of course, as these tools get ridiculously powerful, you've got the grown-ups and the tanks stepping in and asking the hard questions. This quote from Clement DeLong sums it up perfectly. It captures this huge debate around responsibility. Should these agents rely on closed, proprietary models, or is open source better for privacy and long-term stability? This is exactly the kind of critical thinking that defines those responsibility-focused roles. And just look at this number for a second. 100,000. That's the number of stars on GitHub for Llama CPP. Now, that's not just some vanity metric. It represents a massive movement of developers, our AI engineers, embracing local, open-source AI. They want tools they can control and customize on their own machines, which lets them build even faster. All right, so we've gone through the model, we've seen it in action. Now let's talk about the most important part. What does this all mean for you and your career? So now is the time to ask yourself, looking at this grid, where do you see yourself fitting in? And forget your current job title for a minute. Just think about your core skills, what you're passionate about, and where you really genuinely want to make an impact. First, think about that horizontal line. What gets you out of bed in the morning? Is it pure creativity, that thrill of exploring what's new and what's possible? Or do you find your purpose in responsibility and making sure things are safe, they're reliable, and they're fair for everyone? And now for the vertical line. Do you get your energy from the messy, wonderful, unpredictable work of dealing with people? Or are you happiest when you're deep in the weeds, just lost in the logic of the system, working directly with the machines? Your answers to these questions will point you to one of these four crucial roles. Look, if you remember one thing from all this, let it be this. All that fear about job replacement might just be misplaced. The real story here is about realignment. The work isn't vanishing, it's just being reshaped and reorganized around these four essential functions. And that leaves us with one last big thought to chew on. As these incredibly powerful AI systems become the new foundation for all of technology, you really have to ask yourself a fundamental question about your relationship to them. Are you going to be the one on the machine side, the one who is building and defending the tool itself? Or are you going to be on the human side, the one who's wielding that tool to create something new and make sure it's used responsibly? The answer to that question is going to define your entire future in tech.